My daughter begged me for one more chapter at the library. I had no idea she was keeping us both alive. My 6-year-old was doing her negotiating routine at the library checkout, holding the book against her chest. Story time had ended 20 minutes ago and the reading corner was empty, but she wanted me to read one more chapter of the dragon book right there in the beanbags, right now. I almost said no. I'd had one of those days. Work had been brutal, and the separation from her mom had turned every week into a logistics puzzle, and all I wanted was to get home, make the same pasta we always made, and sit down. But I looked at her face. She'd been having a rough stretch, chewing her sleeves at school, crying at drop-off. Her teacher had pulled me aside 2 weeks earlier and told me she'd been asking a lot of questions about whether houses can change, whether daddies change, whether everything changes. None of this was her fault. She didn't ask for any of it. So I put my keys back in my jacket and said, "Okay, Bug, one chapter." Her whole face opened up like a window. One chapter became 3. Then she wanted to show me the fish tank by the children's desk. Then the librarian, who knows her by name, let her stamp the return cards, which is apparently the greatest honor available to a 6-year-old. I sat in a chair that was much too small for me and watched my kid be a kid, unclenched for the first time in a month. I stopped checking my phone. Nobody was waiting for us. It was just me and her now. When the library closed at 7, she took my hand in the parking lot and said, "This was a good day, Daddy." We drove home the long way because she likes the street with the blue house that has the lion statues. I noticed the smell when we turned onto our block. Then I saw the trucks, fire, police, a utility crew, and yellow tape across our driveway. Our neighbors were standing on the far sidewalk in their coats. Our house looked wrong. The front windows were gone, not broken, gone, blown outward, glass all over the lawn. Part of the garage wall was leaning into the driveway. There hadn't been a fire exactly. There had been one enormous moment, and then this. A firefighter jogged over before I'd even gotten the car in park and asked if this was my residence. I couldn't make words happen. My daughter asked from the back seat why our house was broken. They confirmed nobody was inside. Then a utility supervisor asked me a question that didn't make sense at the time. What time did we normally get home? 6:15, I told him. Every day, like clockwork. He and the fire captain looked at each other. A neighbor took us in for the evening. My daughter fell asleep on their couch under someone else's blanket while I filled out forms with hands that wouldn't hold still. Everything we owned was in that house. Her baby albums, the height marks on the kitchen door frame. I didn't have a toothbrush for her. Around 10, a detective came to the neighbor's door and asked to speak with me on the porch. I assumed he'd say gas leak, aging line, bad valve, terrible luck. He said, "Sir, the interior valves were opened manually, all of them, and we recovered an ignition device rigged to your kitchen outlet on a timer." I grabbed the porch railing. The timer was set for 6:40, pasta time, the two of us at the table, every single night. Then he said they'd already made an arrest, a man I'd fired 14 months earlier, after I'd caught him falsifying safety inspections and reported him to the state board. He'd lost his license over it. He'd sent letters for a while, then gone quiet, and I'd let myself believe quiet meant done. He'd been in our house that afternoon. He knew our schedule because for 2 years he'd worked out of the same office I did, listening to me talk about dragon books and pasta night. "If you'd been home at your usual time," the detective said, and then he stopped because he could see I'd already done the math. I went back inside and sat on the floor next to the couch and watched my daughter sleep, one arm flung over the library book she'd refused to leave in the car. She'd checked it out on her own card, her first one. The librarian had made a little ceremony of it. The trial is in the spring. The house is being rebuilt. We live in an apartment near the library now, and we walk there most evenings, and I have never once, since that night, told her we didn't have time for one more chapter. We always have time. That's the whole lesson. We always have time.